Let's find out what the best under 500 handheld really is.
Oh, yes. Okay, you want to get into the handheld game, but you're a cheapskate, so it's time for you to look at what you can actually get in the budget space. It's an underserved part of the market, but as things have kind of developed, we are starting to see some kind of good value offerings in that kind of sub 500 mark. So it's kind of exciting. I want to share some of them that are here, and kind of like at the end, our recommendation if you are trying to get into handheld gaming but have a budget that's quite tight to work with. I think it's kind of an exciting thing to do.
I think it's a really exciting thing to do because I think everyone looks at the top end devices and a lot of attention is on those. But realistically, people want to get the best bang for your buck. And I think that is really where the market will need to be, especially where potentially all these price increases that are looming could be. So, of course, take all the prices that we say today with a pinch of salt because they may well go up. But I think the best 500 handheld is probably more practical for most people than we think.
I'm going to kick things off with what I think is the most beautiful looking in all of this list.
Oh, yes.
And that is the Steam Deck OLED. And I know this is an obvious choice from off the bat, but if you must have an OLED display, and I can totally understand why you would say that, this really is your only choice at this price point.
At this price point, absolutely. And to be fair, getting an OLED screen at this price point is still pretty incredible, especially in this day and age, like the Steam Deck OLED, despite its, slight underpoweredness, it is still a beautiful display, and the display we know is the window into our immersion, into our gaming worlds, so it needs to be, I think it's an important factor, and I think that's why people still love the Steam Deck OLED even now.
Yeah, 100%. You can pick them up new in the UK, they're $480, in the US slightly over 500 at $549, so it sits squarely right at the top of this budget. I think one of the great things about this, and the thing that most users that have one rave about the most beyond the screen, is of course that kind of native SteamOS-ness.
Yes.
It's such an ease of use king for PC gaming.
It really is.
It's hard to look past it for that. So if you want to pick up and play, but you want access to everything that's cool about the Steam library, which there is a lot, and of course Steam Big Picture mode, then it's probably the best choice in this list for that reason.
It's up there with one of the easiest to do. I would say it's the easiest PC handheld to use. Anything with SteamOS is just a beautiful experience. Obviously, the caveat there is no anti-cheat support. So if you're like a Call of Duty player, you're not going to be playing Game Pass unless you're willing to stream. But to be fair, that screen is a beautiful streaming screen, But yeah, if you're just looking at playing single player games, especially slightly older titles, then the SteamOS and the Steam Deck OLED is a fantastic choice, and especially for emulation as well. I need to say that it's like a beautiful screen for emulation. Yeah,
probably the best device on this list if that's your thing. If that's what you're looking at.
I would agree. Yeah.
Phenomenal for that. And whilst we're on ease of use, I'm going to move on to the second device in this list, and it is the ease of use king, and I love it for that. It is, of course, the Switch 2.
Yes, we can't deny that the Switch 2 is amazing for what it is. Like, it is an efficiency king, and the performance, I mean, it outperforms the Steam Deck OLED.
Don't say that too loudly because we'll get the pitchforks in the comments.
I know. We just got like 20 thumbs down from that, but but it's true. I'm sorry, it really is.
And pound for pound, when you're talking about performance and ease of use, it's unbeatable. In the UK, it's $385. In the US, $449. Pound for pound, that value for performance is incredible.
The value is incredible, and obviously you can like natively play Nintendo games. It's the only device that we'll be talking about that can do that. And there is a lot of good Nintendo games out there, whether you love them or hate them. But the good thing is we've seen so many third-party games get ported over, and we're just going to see even more this year, because Nintendo even came out and said they're going to make it easier for third parties to port their games over this year. So we should see some really good ports, because we've already seen some fantastic ones.
I think it's worth mentioning whilst we're talking about the libraries, that's probably its biggest limiting factor as well.
I agree.
The potential's huge, but as of we talk about it right now, the library is very limited. The third-party library even more so. And of course, when you talk about limiting factors, you do have to contend with like that non-customizable performance.
Yes.
Which isn't the case with all the other devices we're going to talk about in this list.
That's very true. But I think there's a large, broad appeal for people that just want to pick up and play, that just want to literally click on something. They don't care about like tweaking settings and stuff. They just want something to work and work well, and they're not having to head scratch. If that's you, then great. And again, if you're coming into this with no prior library, you don't have a Switch 1, you don't have a PC, maybe you come from a PlayStation or an Xbox, right? And you don't have like some sort of online service, and you're looking here, then this is more of an option. If you're already a PC player and you've already got 500 games on Steam, well then Switch 2, you're going to have to start rebuying stuff and start your library again. The outlay of cost will end up making this more expensive. So you really need to think about things. But the Switch 2 is a great contender, and it does have a 120 hertz screen now. So
yeah, fully VRI. There's a lot going for it. Like I say, pound for pound, very hard to beat the value for performance that you get there.
Yes.
So it's a strong contender. I am a huge advocate for it in the handheld space. And of course, one final part before we move on from that, it is fully hybrid, which is a absolute unique selling point of it.
100%. Yes. Yeah. If you dock this, you will get more performance, actually more performance than any of these other handhelds we will talk about, because you know the clocks get boosted and everything when it's docked. And I have to admit, the experience docked is incredible. Like it really is. Playing Cyberpunk or anything that I've tried on it, playing docked actually surprises me of how capable the Switch 2 really is. Yeah,
it's huge. Okay, moving on from one massive manufacturer to the next massive name on the list, and that's, of course, we're talking about Xbox, which is the Asus R.O.G. Xbox Ally. Should be Ally S, but it's not. So we're talking about the white one, because that comes in the US, it's on sale still at $499, which is actually quite a good price for it. UK also £499. I'm trying to hold back on like being really critical of it.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I mean, if the RRP is $600 and £500, however, we are taking this with a pinch of salt and saying that it's at the $499 sale price that they keep rolling out because they're clearly trying to pitch it up against the Steam Deck OLED now. And if it only makes sense when you start comparing it against the Steam Deck, in my mind, because it is basically a newer generation Steam Deck. It's slightly more performant. It's running Windows, so the Windows automatically makes it slightly less performant, but it gives you that Xbox Game Pass library natively. You're not forced to stream, so you can natively play it. You can still access Steam and everything else. It's running Xbox full screen experience, which will just get better over time. There is a lot to love here about it. I think we're just tough on it because we feel like it was a bit of a backstep from the old generation models. That's all.
I think they could have easily, we've said it before, they could have easily just put the Z1 Extreme in this and it would have been an absolute killer.
It would
the
have
value
won.
would have been insane then.
Absolutely.
Even if
agree.
they'd gone with a tiny step up with like what, I know Lenovo's is a custom chip, but the Z2 Go, that level of performance is just slightly higher.
Yeah.
Got more compute. Like they could have done a bit more, but it felt, because we've come from the previous generations of Allies ourselves, it felt almost a little lazy as a release, a step down in performance, the same screen, same RAM. It's just like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, and whilst I'm kind of a bit hypocritical here because I believe that the screen is very good. It's 120 hertz, it's VRR, and it is very, very good. It's a 16:9 screen. The whole device is the screen's a little bit smaller, because of it. But then when you're looking at like the equivalent being the Steam Deck OLED, it's like, oh man, it's a 90 hertz panel. The only downside for the Steam Deck OLED is there's no VRR. So immediately the Xbox takes an advantage there, but a lot of people are going to be swayed by that nice big 16:10 OLED screen on the Steam Deck.
100%.
If there was an 8-inch screen on this, I think it would be an easier push. 8-inch, 120 hertz VRR panel, but 7-inch, it just seems a little bit lazy, like you said.
If they'd gone with the Z1E as well, then I'd be a lot more kind of recommendant of it.
This video wouldn't even be worth doing. It would just be like, just get that, just get it, like.
it was a strange move from them, but of course it's a solid. If you're coming from nothing, it's a solid budget offering. If you're coming from having an Xbox library and you want something handheld and on a budget, actually a very good offering for that. You just want to play your Xbox games on the go, Game Pass machine.
Yes.
Okay, it's got the Xbox logo, and I know that sounds really stupid to say, but that does offer some kind of branding kind of appeal, doesn't it, to some people?
Absolutely, and Xbox have made the choice to do the kind of verified system, so you can see the games on the library to see how well it's going to perform, and you get an idea as to the performance and how easy it's going to use, and play and load up if all the scaling is going to be correct. If you're going to have to adjust settings, they kind of give you all that straight off the bat.
And although the Xbox full screen experience isn't, is it Xbox full screen experience or Windows full screen experience?
Xbox full screen, yeah.
Anyway, because that's still in its infancy, we know that that's going to get a lot better. Game profiles are going to improve. There's going to be things that are going to make this better, more efficient. It's still a little bit kind of bloaty and a bit janky in places. But it's going to offer a console-like experience, especially as the Xbox consoles move towards PC as well, and we get this kind of joining up. So it'll offer that natively. That's something. Anyway, I want to move along from the white Xbox allies to an entry into this list that kind of shouldn't be here, Andy. Kind of shouldn't be in this list. The Legion Go S, okay?
Yeah.
And this has a big parentheses around it.
It does.
Because there's about 1,000 variants.
Yes.
Most of them are over 500.
They are indeed.
Slightly, some more so. But in the UK, it gets into this list because there is one variant that's under 500.
That's
by
true.
£1.
Yes, by £1, yeah. But that does make it actually exactly the same price as the Xbox Ally. And it's more performant.
Yeah.
And quite a bit more performance because it launches with SteamOS as well.
There's the Z2 Go variant, 512GB, 16 gig of RAM with SteamOS, comes in at $499 or $650 in the US. And that, specifically, that variant in this list is actually a really compelling offer.
Really compelling offer. We got an 8-inch screen on this thing. And I can't speak from experience because I've never been hands-on with one, but looking at hundreds or if not thousands of posts across Reddit and Facebook and stuff, people completely agree that this is the most comfortable handheld out of the lot of them, even topping the Xbox allies, believe it or not, because it's more of like an almost pancake design, but with proper controller grips, with the correct spacing for the asymmetrical joysticks. So, I mean, looking at it, it makes sense that it's very ergonomic and compact. And I think with the Xbox Ally, because it's got the horns, the handles, whatever you want to call them, the handlebars, as they like to call them, that kind of like makes the whole device much bigger because they're like separate from the device. Whereas the Legion Go S is like one big, like, it looks like a magical bean to me. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like a bean shape.
Yeah.
But the 8-inch screen is really compelling. We've got 120 hertz on that. I'm pretty sure it's got VRR as well. Don't quote me on that because I have forgotten, but I'm pretty sure it's got VRR. And that Z2 Go processor is far better than the Z2A that's found in the Xbox Ally. And again, it's got SteamOS. So this is kind of like the best of both worlds here between the Steam Deck and the Xbox Ally, but you're getting a slightly more premium device here.
It feels like the logical successor from the Steam Deck.
Yeah.
And I know there was a lot with when we were looking at the Legion Go 2 with the OLED screen. There was a lot of Steam Deck OLED owners that did move over to that because it was a new OLED, the only new OLED device that was worth having.
Yes.
But obviously that blows our budget well out the water. That doesn't sit inside this one. No OLED from Lenovo in this budget. You can get the other variants, but they do blow this budget apart.
They do, yeah.
I would say if you've got a little bit more money, go for the Z1E with 32 gigabytes of RAM and SteamOS. It's $699 in the UK.
Yes.
But you get that Z1E, which is incredible still, and 32 gig of RAM is so much in a handheld.
Yes.
The headroom that you get is insane. But obviously at 700 we can't include it in this list.
No,
Otherwise
no.
we'd start recommending everything.
Yeah, that's it. It will just creep up and up and up, because once you go up one tier, you might as well go to the next one, you know. So
yeah. This is like what shopping's like in general when you're looking for new devices.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's
well,
true.
it's only £100 more. But then if I spend £100 more, I might as well spend £300 more.
Exactly. Yep, that's it.
It would be remiss of us, when we're talking about a budget list, not to talk about some of the pre-owned options, some of the end-of-life products that you can still pick up. They still pick up in excellent condition, quite often with large warranties still. And in many cases, blow the performance of a lot of these out of the water.
Yeah,
for
like
much less money.
half the cost. Yeah, totally agree.
I'm going to start with the Steam Deck LCD.
Yes, I think that's a good shout. Yeah.
Because I bought one quite recently, but they typically average at about £300.
Yes.
You can. Yeah. I was looking when we were writing this list. You can see them on like eBay and stuff for as low as $250.
Amazing.
But obviously conditions are going to vary.
Yes.
But if you go quite safely, a £300 budget for this. Now, it has a horrid screen. That's for certain when you compare it to like the OLED.
Yeah.
It's gross to look at. Its performance isn't great. It is lacking in a lot of areas. But if you want a super low budget option and you just want to get going with handheld gaming or PC handheld gaming, or you want to play your Steam library on the go and you're not really worried about anything else, isn't it really hard to look past this?
This is a brilliant companion. At that price point, again, if you've, like you said, if you've already got a library and you just want to emulate or play some of your older titles, this thing still absolutely smashes it. Yes, the performance is the worst out of everything we look at, but it doesn't mean that it's redundant. And if you're looking at 200, like 250, 300, like this is an insane value. Like if you're going to be playing those older titles or emulating or whatever, and you're not even fussed, like you're not looking for bleeding edge, you just literally want a companion. You take 1 week, once a week bus trip or train trip or something. You just want something. This is going to be great without breaking the bank. Like it really, really is. I still think it's valid.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with you. But I want to end this list with what I'm going to say is my recommendation on this list.
Yeah, yep.
I don't know if you agree with me. Probably
I totally agree,
because we are the same person.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. I totally agree.
We're, of course, and we've said it so many times, long-time subscribers will be really familiar with this, but of course, the original R.O.G Ally with the Z1E inside it that has only just gone to end of life, that you can still pick up from most good secondhand retailers for about £350, between $300 and $500. It is absolutely mental value what you're getting at that price point.
Incredible value. Like this is like a must buy at that price point.
yeah, it's insane. Especially as we are now looking at a landscape in 26 where new products are going to be getting expensive.
Yeah, really
and more expensive. And this under 500 list is probably looking at under 700 list by the end of the year.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So then when you look at the value you're getting from that Z1E and the R.O.G Ally, and also I think there's going to have to be an acceptance from all of us gamers that we're going to have to hold on to our devices for a little bit longer than we normally would.
Yep, I totally agree. And I think this one actually sits in there because it's got the Z1 Extreme, which is, it blows the pants out of any of the other processors or APUs that we've seen on this list that we've talked about. So this is the most performant. It's also got that same 120 hertz VRR screen that the Xbox Ally has, which is an amazing screen. It's way more compact than the Xbox Ally, so it actually feels more like an actual handheld. It comes with Windows, so you get Xbox full screen experience support natively now, or it's got SteamOS support, or you can install Bazzite, so you can have best of both worlds. If you install SteamOS or Bazzite, you will squeeze out some extra performance there. But I like the idea of putting Xbox full screen experience on there so that you can access your Game Pass titles natively. But you know, this is a really, like, at that price point, I just can't see any negatives here.
It does have some limitations, is worth mentioning. Battery life on them is not great.
That's true.
Slightly less RAM than some of the others on this list as well.
Yep.
And that 16 gig can be a limitation, especially on more modern titles. You're going to maybe come across some like frame pacing issues and stuff. Maybe. But like you say, if that becomes a problem as we move through this year, then SteamOS might be the way forward because you're giving yourself a bit more headroom in that sense.
Absolutely. And you've still got the streaming options as well. You know, you can stream to this from your consoles, from your PC. If you've already got a gaming rig, you could literally stream straight to it with minimal latency, if not almost none, through, you know, Apollo and Moonlight and stuff like that. Or you can just stream Game Pass or stream through Steam. Like, there's so many options here because, like you said, we are going to have to be hanging on to these devices for quite a while. You know, like me personally, I don't see me changing from the Legion Go 2 anytime soon with the price hikes that we'll be suffering with for the next couple of years, you know. So I think at the price point of $300 ish, like up to 500 depending on where you get it and stuff, this is such a good buy. You know, my wife's got one. I bought my wife one of these, the original Ally, and I've said to her time and time again for the past 12 months, do you want to upgrade it? Do you want to go to the Ally X? Do you want to go to an Xbox Ally X? She's like, it does everything I need it to. She has no reason to upgrade it, you know. So
and the other really nice thing I will say about that device in particular, most of the PC handhelds will fall into this though, but it's very easy to customize as well. And if there's little upgrades you want to do, there is like battery kits that you can put in it. There's obviously joystick modules you can replace.
Yeah.
You've got guides on the channel for some of them, or some of them in like the sister devices. Yeah. It's not rocket science to do it. And as long as you're slow, purposeful, and follow instructions clearly, you can eke more and more life and kind of quality of life performance upgrades on these devices.
Absolutely.
For quite a little amount of money as well.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, I think we're all going to have to be holding on to devices a little bit longer, which means some of these second-hand ones are valid choices. And 100%, I'll say it again, if I was going to make a recommendation for under 500, R.O.G Ally with the Z1E in it every day of the week.
I totally agree. Yeah, that's what I would go and pick up right now if all of mine just poofed into thin air and I just had this budget. I would go out and get one of these. That's what I'd do.
I think it's being slept on, and I'll tell you for why. There's a second-hand electronics retailer in our town here, and every time I go in there, there's at least two in the window. Yeah. And they sit at $350, maybe $380 for like an excellent condition one. Yeah, like, why is no one buying these?
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. But I'd love to know what you guys think down in the comments down below. What's your recommendation for these new handheld gamers that have got a smaller budget? Or maybe you're one of them and you've got the choice to make in front of you, in which case, good luck. It's exciting and terrifying. But let us know what you're thinking down in the comments down below. And whilst you're down there, please do like this video. Subscribe for more handheld gaming content.
Oh, yeah.
What else should they do, Andy?
Become a member and you get to chat to us on our private Discord as well.
Love it. So we'll see you next time.
Bye.